Welcome. As I told you today, my daughter Michelle LaNoue is joining me. This is Michelle. I'm visiting her in Chicago area. And since I was here and she's grown up with a psychic medium mom, is it okay to say you have your own gifts? She doesn't do it for a living, but she definitely has strong gifts and always has in this area. So today, this is a topic I delayed. It's going to be about signs, angel signs. And so that's just like anything that angels use to try to get your attention, to make you look at something, to make you be aware that they're there, to guide you towards something. It comes in so many different forms. And if you don't know about these, it is so easy to miss some of them. They can be pretty subtle. Or people like in the modern day world tend to think, oh, what a weird thing. Or what a weird coincidence. No, no, the angels are trying to get your attention. I do want to tell you there are some times in your life when they can bring on more angelic signs for you. And that would be when you're having a spiritual awakening, when you're coming to a deeper understanding of yourself, like you've done a lot of work on yourself, you've worked through some issues. When you have expansive thinking of the universe, like you're really gotten out of your own head and your own life and you're thinking far beyond that. When you come to the place where you're opening up to deep caring for all humanity, which is a really clear sign you have reached a higher frequency, by the way. So it's also likely that you will receive more angelic signs when you're experiencing certain emotions. And that's because your angels are going to try to help you shift out of what you're going through. They want to help you. So some of those emotions that might elicit more angelic signs are feeling lonely or isolated, being sad, feeling confused, feeling like you're abandoned, whether it's true or not, those issues of abandonment, vulnerability, just being scared and feeling like you're open to attack, whether it's true or not, doesn't matter. So your angels really tune into that. They know exactly how you're feeling. They know what you're going through. They're going to tune into that and they're going to be all over trying to help you with it. Everything's happening for a reason. Sometimes it's to guide us towards something better. Sometimes it's to wake us up. Sometimes it's to help us learn a lesson, to pay attention. But feelings are feelings. They come and they go, but sometimes they get stuck. I've been stuck in emotions, haven't you, Michelle? More times than you want to talk about. And so your angels want to just kind of jog you out of that. Excuse me. When you're on a spiritual journey, you can receive signs to help you along the way. And some of those signs are helping you work towards the discovery of your mission or life purpose. And there's millions of people who are seeking that right now, talking to you here. And if you realize you've wandered off your path and you're ready to get aligned with it again, had a little something pulled you off, or you got distracted, excuse me, allergies, and you just want to get back on track again. You're moving in the wrong direction. You're ready to heal from trauma. You need to experience unconditional love. You've never had that. Boy, I've got the Chicago.
Should I get you some water? I'll
No,
grab some.
She's going to get water for me. Your angels want to reinforce your belief in yourself. Their desire to see you move in the direction will bring you the most joy, fulfillment, and abundance possible. Reconnecting with the pure love that you carry in your soul, it can help you rise above the turmoil around you, whether it's in your life or in the world. Either way, it can be very upsetting to your energy. Signs can happen when you don't expect them, but when you need them most. That's definitely happened for me. Sometimes you're not even aware of how much you need the assistance. It's easy to get lost in our own drama and trauma and not even think. I've done it. I'm an angel communicator, and I've done it where I realized, why am I not asking my angels for assistance with this? So they'll just Zoom come in. So angels use a whole lot of different signs and symbols to communicate with you. It's not always talking. Sometimes they get through when words won't. The words are a sign as well. They do try talking to you first. Your angels are going to repeat messages. For me and my other soul sisters at work, We generally hear them at least 3 times. And honestly, if they want you to do something very much, they're going to just tell you and tell you and tell you. Usually there's something meaningful behind these signs. They're not just to get your attention. A signal might arrive as a flash of inspiration, hearing a message out loud, or experiencing a sudden breakthrough you've been working on. Thank you, Michelle. Your angels send signs to reinforce your thoughts and experiences, to give you support and let you know that positive changes and blessings are coming your way. They don't want you to be feeling lost and lonely and helpless and you don't know what to do, where to go. That's a horrible place to be. And most people have experienced that, so you know it's a dreadful experience. So let your angels help guide you out of it. I'm going to let Michelle introduce the first section, the first type of sign that you might get.
So, words. Angels will use words to give you messages and to confirm your thoughts and ideas. They are creative in how they do this. It goes beyond the spoken word. Here are some ways you may receive this type of sign. Reading a word or phrase that echoes a recent thought. What's a good example of that?
Well, a good thing is, like, you might have been thinking about being friends with somebody you recently met and pursuing a friendship. And maybe their name starts coming through in things that you read, like, and especially if it's an unusual name, it's coming through. Or you'll see things about how important friendship is, or the value of having friends and how it makes you happier to extend your life. Like, those kind of things are not, they're just subtle hints, like, do it, do what you're thinking about.
Another way is seeing a word on a license plate, billboard, menu, bus, magazine cover, or another place that means something to you, or repeats a thought you had or idea that you had.
Boy, I'm just determined to cough my way. It really is pretty much the same thing, because if you, let's go back to the same example. You're thinking about making friends with somebody, becoming friends with somebody, but you're not taking action. Right? Life is busy, you get distracted. And then you start seeing best friend or friends forever written on billboards or t-shirts. And you know, if you see it a lot more than you normally would, and you've been thinking about that, then that is a sign. What's the next one?
Overhearing conversations that are about something you have been mulling over.
Oh gosh, I think that's a big one. Like, I've been sitting in restaurants, and it's not like I'm eavesdropping, but like a bit of a conversation will like pierce through my attention, and I'll hear exactly like a message my angels have been saying, something I've been thinking about, considering doing. So this is just another way, like, if you're not paying attention to your angels talking to your own inner push, then they're going to use it through other people. What's next?
Finding a song coming to your mind or lips frequently. Again, think about the lyrics. Is there a likely message there for you?
I was just telling Michelle this morning, for several days, I find myself singing this song, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even, I'm not thinking about it. I haven't thought about it in years. And then boom, I'm singing it. And I know that's a message. You know, I know there's a message in there, but it can happen. Like, well, I'm going to tell you the biggest story. I have this in my book. So if you got the book, Let Your Angels Lead, you maybe already read this. There's Cynthia. Welcome, Cynthia. I don't see her yet, but she'll be here. In the book, I talk about this experience where I was coming out of this terrible relationship. We hadn't quite separated yet. And I was in the shower just sobbing and really just feeling completely hopeless and wrung out and didn't know what to do. And I burst out singing, I'm the man who loves you inside and out, which is a Bee Gees song. And then I realized, oh my God, number one, I didn't feel like singing. I hadn't thought of that song in many years. And I just realized that was my master guide, and I felt his energy like surround me, and I started laughing. And it made me feel better right away. I just felt like that little spark of hope inside, like, it's gonna be okay. Welcome, Cynthia. I'm glad you're here today. Glad you're joining us. This is my daughter, Michelle.
Hi, Cynthia.
And so that's an example, but if the song keeps coming to you, if you keep hearing it on the radio, if you keep hearing it on TV, wherever you're listening to music, and that song keeps coming up, it's not so much about the song as the lyrics, and not all the lyrics. Pay attention to what the lyrics are and see what really strikes you. Like when you really start examining it, you'll realize there's something in the lyrics that really means something to you.
Yeah, I've actually had that experience too. Like my best example is a song called Beyond the Gray Sky by 311. And have you ever listened to a song and it means something to you one year, but then like time moves on and then you realize it has even a deeper meaning than that, and it's totally different than what you thought it was? So originally Beyond the Gray Sky, I thought it was more about like my relationship at the time, and we were dating long distance, and I thought, oh, it's just getting past, the gray sky when we can be together again. And both of us really, my at the time boyfriend and I like really identified with that song. But then years go by, I have my first son, I end up marrying that man, obviously. And I don't know, I was working for one of his family's businesses, and it came on one day, and I realized it was about suicide. And I realized at the time, I came from like a sunshine state, moved to Illinois where it's like dark a good chunk of the year. And I realized that the people that wrote the song lost a really close friend. And then I really started listening to the lyrics, and it just had an even deeper meaning, where it was just like how suicide and depression like makes the people around you feel. And it was really this band, trying to help others when they couldn't help their friend that they lost, see beyond the gray sky and focus on the good, and just wishing that we could have been there for them.
And it does, songs are like that. Wherever you are in your life, it's with songs and poetry and books, the things in it are going to strike you that reflect where you are in your life right now.
Yeah, and sometimes it makes you think.
I'm going to see if I can help her with this.
Having some ideas.
Try that. Yeah, we'll see. Oh, thank you for letting us know, Cynthia. We're bummed, but we understand. These things happen.
Sometimes also, I think with songs, sometimes I think we're meant to think about other people as well. And there's so many times where you have a moment where you think about a long lost friend or relative, and you think like, oh, I really need to reach out to them. And then you don't. And you find out later, like they were going through a really rough time.
Yes.
And then it's like the moments where you actually do reach out and you actually find out like, oh, wow, like I had no idea what was going on. I'm so glad I called. And you really realize like, oh, it's not just a coincidence when you hear something or see something and think of somebody, like it is a sign to reach out to them and connect.
I believe it, like our angels know what's going on with them, and they're like, hey, you need to give that person a call. That happened recently with my dear friend Patty, who might be watching now, who I had no idea, but she had gotten COVID and she was in the hospital on a ventilator, and I didn't think she'd make it. And she'd been in the hospital for weeks, and I kept thinking about her, and she did live. She's off the ventilator, and she called me the day she got out of the hospital and told me that just leading up to that, like I'd been on her mind, and even when she was in the hospital, she was thinking about me, and it was like that connection, and our angels were just like, you need to call. But I had no idea. I was just had so much going on that I had no idea. For 3 weeks. I felt terrible. So listen to them. Is that all of those?
Yes.
Okay. So what's the next one?
Symbols.
That's a big one.
Angels may give you symbols and images of angels with wings, halos, or flowing robes. Your angels do this to remind you that they are with you and that they exist. They have a deep, unconditional love for you. Angels are aware, that humans associate divine beings with this type of image. Though it is not how they look in the celestial realm, they can use it to get your attention. When you start seeing angel images more frequently than usual or in unexpected places, it's a heads up for you. They are trying to get your attention. Seeing angel images is often their way of reminding you that you have a powerful team of angels watching over you. They want to remind you that you have incredible support available when you ask for it.
And it's so
So
true.
examples of this or associated items are halos, of course, trumpets, angel wings.
I think that's the big one, angel wings.
You know, can
But
it be
the-
like beams of light?
If it's a drawing of it, like seeing a picture or drawing or painting.
There's also doves, sword, chalice.
Some of those I wouldn't think of, but I've had a lot of people tell me that they see those and they're receiving, they know they're getting angelic signs at that time. So the thing about these is this could just be like something shaped like this. It's not just like seeing a painting or seeing a picture or drawing.
Like in the clouds?
It can be in clouds. That's always been one of my favorites. And that's because my grandma, who was Southern Baptist, only magazine she got was Guidepost magazine. And it had a section in it that had pictures people would take of angels in clouds. And that struck me so deeply as a child. Like that was my favorite thing. And I was always looking for angels in the clouds. And I still see them. But it can also be that you see an angel drawn into sand or soil or carved into a rock or something that looks like one of those shapes. You know, it's just, it can be on a card, it can be on a t-shirt. The thing is, when you're seeing them far more than often or than you usually do, or in weird places, unexpected places, then they're trying harder and harder to get your attention is what's going on with that. And I think the biggest one with all of that, no, I'm going to go on a little further, but we'll go down a little further here. Talk about the inner push.
Inner push. Sometimes angelic signs come from within you. You may feel a strong urge to take a class, visit a city, talk to a person, call a specific person, drive a different route, skip a planned event, renew a hobby, switch careers, join a social group, or study topic.
And I just want to say something here is sometimes that is your intuition. Sometimes it's your angels putting that desire into you, like pushing you to do it. So it can be hard to tell the difference. And I say, who cares? Just listen. If it's your intuition, you should listen. If it's your angels, you should listen. I'm sorry, go ahead.
These are not random whims. This happens. Consider it assigned and follow it. Most of the time, you will not see why it's necessary or where it will lead. Trust that your angels know that this is your best and highest good to follow that urge. It's easy to push these ideas aside and go on with your life. That choice is up to you. Understand that you can receive some of the most important messages this way. Respect those urges. An example of this is this book. Do you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, because about 8 years ago, I was still in that terrible relationship. And I was just trying to get through every day, just trying to survive the days. And I really had lost myself in just the emotional abuse going on. And I remember my angels were telling me every day, you need to write a book, you need to host a show. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am no way ready to do anything like that. I'm barely surviving, but I will, I'll do it. And finally, they tapered off a little bit, but I knew they wanted this done. So like the book, my book, Let Your Angels Lead, is the book that they pushed me and pushed me and pushed me to write. And I was happy to do it. I just had to be in a good space to do it. I actually had another show about angels before on Blog Talk Radio, took a break, coming back here. But so I did it as soon as I could, but I don't think I would have written this book if my angels had not said, you need to write this book. Because then it was, you need to create a session called Meet Your Angelic Guides. And, you know, it's like, I did it. I done all of it.
Now, whether it's God, intuition, guardian angels, I have had moments as well where it's almost like a nagging voice that's not your own, that just is relentless at times. And, you know, I haven't completed your book, but there's parts of your book that are really standing out to me where it's just kind of confirming, you know, feelings that I've had and where it's coming from. One example is when I was little, my mom and I would go for walks and we would always take trash bags with us to pick up trash along the way, like whether it's the road or parks, forests. And, I grew up in kind of like a hippie town, like environmental studies was,
You could major
the main
in that.
college was pretty well renowned in environmental sciences. So, I mean, the environment was very important to everyone around me growing up. But, as I've grown, moved away, I guess it's just become more apparent to me, like how disgusting we are as a species. And, there's parts of Chicago that are gorgeous. And then there's parts where it's almost like the landfill just, opened up and came back and dumped all their garbage right back into the parks and,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, rivers. It's disgusting. But my oldest son is in Boy Scouts and he needs all these volunteer hours. So we've been picking up trash.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like
That's
originally
fun.
my husband wanted to just like dump him in the town next door, just leave him. And I was like, oh no, like it's kind of sketchy. Like I'll do it with him. Like,
Yeah, I think that's best.
and rightfully so, because it was pretty sketchy at times. Like, but it was really interesting. Like last week, we ended up finding an entire bike, a brand new road bike,
Crazy.
just dumped into the river. Unbelievable. So, we filled 4 trash bags, huge trash bags.
Cynthia says,
yes.
I'm from Chicago too. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, right? It's appalling. Oh, and anyway, another example of garbage is kayaking in the canals of
Mhm.
Chicago. You can do that. And my girlfriend and I counted how many condoms we found. I think we hit like 25 condoms just in this like 1 hour
Ew.
boat, kayaking experience. But then there was people in high-rise buildings and like lofts, like old warehouses that were renovated, that would just take full Gatorade bottles or whatever and just pitch it out of their balcony into the river. I mean, we're out there too. It's like, thanks.
You know what my reaction would be to that?
Oh my God. Like some people just don't care. And I don't know, it's been a nagging voice for me for years now. It just like keeps coming, talking about organizing cleanups. So there is people that organize it for the rivers in the area. And then there's just like very sparse cleanup projects here and there. You don't even hear about it typically. So I don't know. I've been really feeling like I've been getting pushed to start like a more organized program of like really gathering volunteers to help in the community.
Then you're supposed to do it. It's part of your path.
I think
That's
so.
the thing. And if you're pushed to do it, you're not only does it mean you have some passion for it, but it means you're supposed to do it. It's part of your journey, part of your path.
Well, yeah, watching my 14-year-old son, I mean, he really enjoys it and he's very thorough. Like he was really going above and beyond, like getting covered in cockaburs in the fields, and he was good. Even barehanded. I have to use those claws, but he was just out there.
I'm glad it's going on to the new generation.
I think it needs to, because if anything, it's just getting worse. It's not getting better. So
problem
sometimes
is-
I think we need that push.
We do, and too many people are like getting that push and they're pushing it away. They don't want to hear that. It's annoying to them. It's something they don't want to do. They've been ignoring it on purpose. But if your angels think it's important, they are not going to leave you alone. So just be prepared. The sooner you do it, the sooner you'll get relief from hearing about it. Angel signs?
Okay.
What does that say? Angel shapes.
Where do you want me to start?
You can just start with,
Numbers?
oh, you know what? I have to talk about that because there's nothing here for her to read. So angel shapes, it's actually in a different chapter of the book. So I'll just say that's like seeing something. I actually probably mixed that up earlier. So when you find a stone that's shaped a little bit like an angel, I want to give you a little information about this. Anything might be an angel shape for you if you associate it with angels. So what if you find things shaped like a feather? And that means angels to you. Or what if you have a connection with your angels to hearts? I always think of my brother Alan and his wife Vicki. They started this thing where they go on vacations and they do a lot of travel. And they found this heart-shaped rock. And it means to them a connection to to God, to their family, the love for their family, angels, just all of these beautiful things. And they started finding them everywhere they went. They have a collection of perfect heart-shaped rocks that they just find out in nature. And that's an example. So just because like those things we talked about earlier, the halo, the angel wings, things like that, does not have to be that. So if something means to you, feathers, anything shaped like a feather is often associated with angels, and that's a big one for me. So when somebody gives me something shaped like a feather and they don't even know I do angelic work, I know, oh, that's from my angels. Michelle knows my favorite necklace is this silver and diamond angel wing necklace, which I love to wear most of the time, and it just makes me feel so good. And I like touch it, and I just like, it just makes me think of my angels every day. And the person who gave it to me had no idea. So I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
That is amazing.
What's the next section? Is it
Numbers.
Oh, we were just talking about this last night. You want to talk about that a little bit? Read that.
So you may see a series of numbers repeatedly. When it happens 3 or more times, we're seeing angel numbers. There are many ways to see these signs show up. Here are a few.
You don't need to read all those, but the most common one is 111. People see 111. That's a great sign. If you are new on the spiritual path, it's spiritual awakening. If you're already on the path, it means you're getting ready to have a shift forward in your journey, in your understanding, in your own enlightenment. It's 111 is our suite number of my business, Sedona Soul Sisters. That's not a mistake. We did that on purpose. So last night, Michelle was telling me she's been seeing 666, and her husband was wondering, like, he makes him think it's something satanic. So I opened up my favorite angel number site and we looked it up. And what did 666 mean?
You know, I wanted to read it further. So I
It's
didn't
not
read-
satanic.
It was not.
Go to this website. If you need a good site for angel numbers, go on to Google and you enter angel numbers Joanne Scribes. And it's a great site. It's not pretty, it's not fancy, but it goes up to the numbers 10,000. You're going to find out that a lot of numbers that people associate with things like unlucky 13 or 666, no, they're just another number and they mean something for you spiritually. It's a message from your angels. When you're not listening to their words, they're going to try through numbers. How I get it a lot is my alarm clock or my phone. Like I'll look at my phone and I'll see 333. And I'll look at my clock at home, 333. Look at my phone again, 333. You know, I'm like, okay, I need to look that up, see what that is.
I've had that happen a lot too, where I wake up in the middle of the night at the
Oh,
same
yeah.
time, you know,
Mhm.
several times within a week, and then I get kind of creeped out where it's like, oh my gosh, what is up with this
Angel
number?
numbers, angel numbers. They're just trying to, it's just another way to try to go, hey, come on, snap out of it here. We're trying to talk to you. And sometimes it's easy, those can escape you. And again, I'm going to tell you another one, like, maybe I'm skipping ahead. I don't know. But angel numbers, I just want to tell you a cool story involving numbers. Terry Ann, who works with me at Sedona Soul Sisters, she came to us because her angels told her to come see Roz, who is my business partner. And then she just felt like this massive connection with us. And she said before she came to work with us, she kept seeing these 5 numbers and she didn't know what they were. She had no idea. She saw them again and again. And then she realized a couple of weeks after she worked with us that those are the numbers on the milepost marker on the highway right out in front of our plaza that the business is in. Like what? I mean, these random, like 13427, you know, what would that be? You know, who would think that? So they were telling her, she just had no idea what they were telling her, but it ended up being right out in front of our business. So that's the kind of wacky things that can happen that just make your head spin. Well, I'm sorry. You can read a few of those at random, just some of the ones, different numbers.
Well, let me start with my favorite number is 5. That's like my lucky number. So this is an ideal time for a change in your life. I must be changing.
So if
lot.
you get 555 would be, it's really time for a change. Like it's an emphasis on that.
Let's see. Number 6 is reduce your focus on material items and making money.
That's a big one.
A
So
lot of people see
666, that's
7.
going to be part of 666.
Well, I think that's an important one for everyone to keep in mind is
Yeah, because that's not what life is about.
not being material driven towards material items. Number 7, right now, you are fortunate. It's a lucky time to take a calculated risk.
And so when you're seeing that number, like 2 of them, it's emphasized. 3 of them or 4 of them is even more important. And remember I told you about that site? One thing I really like about her angel number site is that she gives you about 3 different things it might be about, so you can see which one resonates for you. And that way it's not just like turning over a card and like it has to mean this. And I think that's good.
That is good. You know what I think what I like a lot about your, your approach process, I guess, and your thoughts on this is like how optimistic and positive you are. Because I think, like for me personally, growing up, I don't know. I think a lot of this stuff, like signs or, well, a lot of different things, were just more scary for me. And I was not optimistic. I was more like very pessimistic and concerned, and it made me worry more. And I think through time and just kind of changing my approach to interpreting things like more positively has really opened it up where it's like less scared and more happy and excited and relieved to see signs versus like being scared.
I'm so happy to hear that. Super happy.
Well, because sometimes
Cynthia
it's
said
creepy
that
and
is
scary,
amazing.
right?
It can be creepy. Like as a kid, I'm not going to lie to you. Being a psychic medium as a kid, I really equated a lot to like the Sixth Sense movie. I was terrified, scared to go to bed, scared of the dark, weird things talking to me. I didn't want any part of it. I was
Yeah,
just
no.
shaking and crying, but I didn't know what was going on. The angels never scared me, but spirit did. That's another story.
Well,
Anyway,
and especially when you just don't want to deal with it at all. It's like, just go away. leave me
no,
alone.
I really just wanted to
don't want it.
sleep. What's the next section? Nick?
Next one is sensations.
And so there's a bunch. Just read that little paragraph there.
There are several signs that you can feel. I'll explain them to you, so you have a better chance of recognizing them as signs from your angels. The first is an unmistakable sign. It's getting chills out of nowhere.
So you're sitting in a room, there's no air conditioning on, there's no windows open, no fans running, and you suddenly feel hard chills on your body. That's how I feel angels. And depending on the powerful energy of that angel, if it's a master guide or guardian angel, it's pretty darn high. Other angels, not quite as powerful. An archangel, crazy hard chills. So that's how I feel it. Might not be how you feel it. If you'll see in that book that there's varying ways that people feel it. But it's pretty cool when you feel that and you know something's around you. And the thing is, it's always about how do you feel? Outside of the chills, but how does it feel to you? Do you feel scared? Is it just interesting? Is it just like a surprise? If it doesn't feel good, if you're scared, maybe it's not angels. Like it always comes down to how do you feel when something happens? I mean, it could startle you, but that's not the same as feeling frightened or feeling at a gut level that something's just not right. But I've never felt chills like that when it's something other than a very high frequency being like angels.
Isn't this like how some people feel spirits?
Yes,
too.
yes. So I try not to get into that too much, but we should. I was thinking about that a minute ago. The way you feel angels is the way you'll feel spirit too. It's just how your body feels it. That's all. So it's true. Like the way that I feel angels is the way I feel spirit. They're not as strong as angels, of course.
If you're not sure, does it help to ask questions like, are
Yes.
you an angel with me? And like, how do you trust the feelings that you get?
And that's why I wrote that book. That's like the angels wanted that book because I'm not trying to make this a commercial for the book, but this is in the book, is that it comes through, building trust comes through practice, like practicing over and over. When you can feel your angels and it always feels the same way. And when you're asking, you do your spiritual protection prayers, and then you ask your angels to touch you. And you feel the same thing over and over, you start to trust, great, that's my angels. But there's other things too. I think that's why it's so important to develop that skill to see your angels, because when you can see their colors, you can't fake the colors of angels. I mean, their colors are their colors, and I've never seen anything else come through as an angel, looking like an angel, ever. So it's just time and practice, and it's just kind of like you can't trust another person until you get to know them. You're not gonna, most people are not going to feel that total trust in their angels till they get to know them. You can go to the next part. It's a big subject.
Ears ringing.
Yeah, I don't really cover that there because it's an earlier chapter. So ears ringing. For me, I call this my angel ear, my left ear. When angels want to get my attention, and it's usually if I'm watching TV or talking to a group of people and they're trying to get my attention, my ear, my left ear will start ringing at an extremely high pitch. Only my left ear. It's doing it right now. It just started, just as I said that. And I feel the angels coming in and getting chills. So they're demonstrating for me.
She had to go.
And if some people, it's their right ear. I find that this happens either with angel people, and that's just my term for people who are born with the ability to communicate with angels, and people who've really practiced and gotten skilled at this, which you don't have to be born being able to do this to develop these skills. You're more likely to suddenly have one of your ears start ringing. And it's just like a hello, turn the TV off. So whatever you're doing, when I have that happen, I just try to minimize all my distractions and get in a quiet place as soon as I can and say, okay, I'm listening. What do you want to tell me or show me? What is it? So that's all.
Enhanced perception.
That's a fun one. Do I read that list on there?
Sure. So some of the receive a sure sign. Feeling more alive and vibrant. Seeing colors is more vivid. Nature looks more beautiful. Feeling the emotions of others. Strong intuitive thoughts. A sense of being slightly high with no chemicals involved. I'm guessing that means more euphoric.
Yes, euphoric. So that is the kind of things that might happen when angels are coming in around you really strongly. I always feel, I would even say I feel a little bit giddy when I'm surrounded in angelic energy, when they really come in and like maybe the whole room's full of angels and I just kind of feel like giddy, laughing, like happy and joyful all of a sudden. So I guess that's my feeling. I guess I haven't had much experience with any kind of things that would give you that kind of euphoria outside of that, but that's kind of like what it is. So it can really put you almost in like an alternate universe, like an alternate dimension in a way where you're just experiencing things more powerfully, more deeply.
Gentle breeze. You may be sitting in a room with no fans, no windows, or doors open. The air conditioning or heating is not running, and yet you feel a gentle breeze move around or past you. There is no explanation for this air movement, and there is a heads up that you have angels moving around you, trying to get your attention.
That one is something that happens to me so often, and it's funny because I when I'm brushing my teeth, I'll feel that air current start moving around me, even though the fan's on in the bedroom. When a fan's on, it's steady stream of air. It doesn't suddenly have a big gust, but I'll be brushing my teeth and I'll feel a big gust of wind, like blow my hair. I'm like, okay. And then when I'm sitting on the side of my bed, right before I lay down and I'm doing my intentions, which is just, asking for protection of my gifts and protection for my family and friends. And I'll be doing that. And at certain points during that, I'll feel the swirling of energy start moving around my legs, very distinct swirl, almost like a figure 8 around my legs. And lately, I'm happy to say, because they do that when they want to emphasize something is going to happen or is happening. For the longest time, when I would say, please let us be able to turn around global warming and save ourselves, future generations and our planet, they would say yes for future generations and our planet, but a no to us, like who are living now. But lately, in the last couple of weeks, that's turned around. And when I say that, they are coming in really strong, like, yes, that's going to happen. So something shifted very positively back on the environment again. Something's really shifted in a positive direction with that. But that's just an example. Sometimes I'm sitting on my sofa and I feel them start to swirl around me too. And that's just another way they're trying to get my attention, like, hey, woman, get out of your little world there and realize what's going on. No break for the angel people.
Crown chakra tingles. Do you want to describe that?
Oh, good.
So a clear angel sign is a tingling sensation on your crown chakra, which is the top of your head. You may also feel a sense of warmth in the area. This sensation is a beautiful sign to receive because it reminds you of the high frequency of your angels.
Yes, it's really good. It's like it was so weird because it was happening to me for a year and a half before I realized what it was. I have shingles. I had it in my head and my face, and when I started feeling like this weird tingling around the top of my head, I thought, oh no, it's shingles. I better do more meditation, really get myself calm, de-stress. And it kept happening and kept happening. And during that time, I was having even more visions. Like I have prophetic visions. I was having more dreams that were meaningful and spiritual, and more visual things happening, like going to other dimensions and those strange things that happen to a mystic. But it was really increasing dramatically. And then it stopped for a while, and then I found out what it was, and I went, oh, well, if you need to do that again, I'm going to know what that is. So it's just kind of like they're activating your crown chakra, where a lot of information, when you're given information about wisdom from God, things that you need to know coming in through your crown chakra for you, whether even if you don't know on a conscious level that you're getting it, or even what you've got, that's where it comes in. So if you're feeling that, it's almost like a creepy, crawly feeling right there on the top of your head.
But it's not bugs.
It's not bugs. That's one of my first thoughts.
Dreams. Your subconscious mind more easily receives messages while you sleep because your conscious mind is resting. Because of this, angels often find it easier to communicate with you at this time. Be alert for reoccurring dreams, repeated themes and images, and feeling like your dream was important. It may feel like more than just a dream. This feeling is particularly true when you have a precognitive dream. That is when you dream about something happening, then later it happens, just as you saw it in your dream. Or similar, right?
I want to talk about that because I have a lot of those. Like, I wish I didn't, but I have a lot of those. So one that I had that was very disturbing several years ago, maybe 3.5, 4 years ago, I had a dream that California was on fire. All of California was on fire. It's like, and it was coming towards the border of Arizona, and everyone, thousands of people were going to the border, and we all had buckets, and we were going to toss water on this fire. And I was like getting into this warrior mode. I'm like, this is hideous. This is awful. I'm terrified, but we've got to fight this fire. And then when the fire started all over California, I just like, oh, I looked back in my book and read that dream, and I'm like, oh. Another one I had recently was a very vivid dream that I was in a bus and with a bunch of people I didn't know. And I looked, we were like on this mountainous road, and I looked across the way, and the whole mountain shifted down, like just slid down into the valley. And I got really scared, and the bus driver wouldn't stop. We're going around a corner, and you could see that around the corner was starting to slide down the mountain too. And I thought, okay, well, we're all dead. So I reached over to grab the hand of the person next to me. I thought, well, I'll give them some comfort because we're going over. And I woke up, and I thought, you know, I'm going to look up and see what that was. And I actually found the exact scene I saw. Like, it was in Indonesia. There was a landslide in this really mountainous area. And like, it was like the vision I saw, the view I saw at the front of the bus and the side window is exactly what was shown in this news story. And you could see this, the mountain had slid down, and it was just like, oh my gosh. So those kind of dreams, you might have that. You might have that about your own family. I do have them about my family, but it could also be about things outside of your own life and your family. But even more important that everybody gets is messages. If you're not able to get them, if you're too busy and distracted when you're awake, when you're asleep, you're going to get those messages. You're just going to receive them a whole lot better. I think we have more left to this, but we're going to have to do the rest on another episode because we're just out of time. So you can see there's so many different ways that angels are going to try to reach out to you. And if you don't catch one, hopefully you'll get another. I will do a part 2 on this topic another time and continue on with this. And if you're interested in more, this is a long chapter in my book, Let Your Angels Lead. You could read more about it and find out for yourself. And in the meantime, just know that we're going to be back. We're doing a pre-recorded show next week that's going to be about ghost stories. And we had a couple here at Michelle's house last night that just blew our mind, that we're like, okay, we got to talk about that next week on the show. So it'll be pre-recorded, but we'll be doing a show next week about some ghost stories we've experienced, and we've had a lot. So, and if you have one yourself, or you have questions, you want to talk about your own story, join us live on the show. I always welcome your questions later. You can email them to me. That email is in the show description if you're watching or listening later, and happy to answer them for you at any time. In the meantime, I hope that you are surrounded by your angels and feel their blessings every moment of your life. Bye.